Hi, in this video, we will explore how to use the nearest service to find points snapped to the closest locations on the street network. You can access the notebook used in this video through the link provided in the video description on my GitHub repository. Before diving into the notebook, ensure that the OSRM routing engine server is up and running. If you would like to learn more about the nearest service, you can check the official documentation through this link. In the setup section, we are reusing the point class introduced in the previous video, but this time I am creating only 2 points, one of which again is used as the center for the map visualization. If we visualize the volume map object, as you can see, we only have 1 point. Now we are ready to utilize the nearest service. The following table summarizes the general options to include in the request. And if you remember, we showed this table in the previous notebook. Basically, the general options are available in all services that you are going to use, but some particular options can be adjusted based on the service that you will use. The structure of a request to the nearest endpoint is as follows. And as you can see, this one is different than the route service that we looked at in the previous video. This time we need to provide the coordinates for just 1 point and the number of points that are snapped into the street network that you want to get. So to create the URL endpoint, we have some variables that we are setting here. The service is nearest, the version of the API is v1, profile is driving. Make sure to change this if you used another profile rather than the car profile, and the host should be localhost. Here we are using the requests library to make the request, and here is our URL. Here we have a difference. The coordinates should only contain 1 point. If you try to make this request with multiple points, you will get an error. Let me run this to make sure that it is working. And sure enough, we get 200 as the status code. A status code of 200 confirms the request was successful. If we extract the data with the JSON method, you can see that we have 2 keys, code and waypoints. The data contains a waypoints list, which in this case includes a single waypoint as requested. Here, if I go back, you can see that the number of snap points is equal to 1. If I change this to 3, here I will get 3 waypoints, as you can see. Let's go back and keep this as 1. Here we are going to extract the points and store them in this nearest points list. And here we are using the point class to get a list of points. After extracting the waypoints, we can add them to the map to display them. Here I am using a circle marker. I am providing the location for the nearest points. Here I have the radius, the color, and after that I add the circle marker to the map. If I run this, you can see that here we get the waypoint. The question that you might ask is, why is snapping necessary? Snapping points to the street network is essential for routing algorithms, as they calculate the shortest path between points located on the network, not on buildings or other off-road locations. You can see that here we started with this point, which is locating a building, but after using the nearest service, it gives us this waypoint, which is snapped to the street network. Let me go back to the request that we made, and instead of just getting 1 waypoint, let me get 5 so that we see how they will look like in the map. Let's run this. And as you can see, here we have 5 options. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think 1 is overlapping here. Before ending this video, let's look at one more example. Here I have this CSV file. Let's look at it. It's simple. It contains a lot of points. Here we have the latitude and longitude for all those points. We are going to load it using pandas. Here is how the data frame looks like. After that, we are going to convert all those into a list of points. Here I am looking at just the first points in this list. Let me add those points to the volume map. Here I am using the get volume map to basically take all those points, add them to the map, and display the result. Here we are using this 6th point as the center point. As you can see, all those points are not snapped to the street network. This one is on a building, this one is off-road, etc. Now we are going to iterate over all those points, use this get waypoints method to get the points that are snapped to the street network. And here I just want to get one. If I specify 2 or more, we will get a lot of points. So let's just keep that as 1. So this is the same thing that we did before, but I just encapsulated all these lines of code into one method. Here we have the coordinates for the point. We want to get just 1 point. Here is the URL endpoint. After that, we make the request. We extract the data with this JSON method, and we extract the list of waypoints. We should get just one waypoint, but if you decide to change this to 2 or 3, this one will work in all cases. And after that, we return the list of waypoints. So here we iterate over all points, call the get waypoints method, and append the result to this waypoints list. And here is how it looks like. So this should be a list of lists. So here, if you change this to 3, you should have the first item should have 3 waypoints. Now, after extracting these waypoints, we can plot them in the map. Let's see how this looks like. So as you can see, all these circle markers should be snapped to the street network instead of being snapped to a building or being off-road. And this, as I told you, will be beneficial for you if you want to use the routing service or the TSP service. We have reached the end of this video. I hope you found it enjoyable. In the next lesson, we will explore the table service.